Good evening. I'm Daphne Liel, and I'm honored to moderate this special ceremony. As some of you may know, I'm a television journalist covering the Knesset, which means that I practically didn't sleep for 5 years. So you can only imagine how happy I am to be here tonight on an evening full of inspiration that is dedicated to those of us who do for the benefit of others and for humanity as a whole. I thank the Wolf Foundation for this opportunity. Distinguished guests, in a few minutes, the Wolf Award ceremony will begin. I kindly ask you to take your seats and ensure your cell phones are switched to silent. Distinguished guests, good evening and welcome to the Wolf Prize Awards Ceremony 2023. The Wolf Prize has been awarded by the Wolf Foundation since 1978 to acclaimed scientists and artists from around the world for their unique contributions in the interest of humanity and friendly relations among people, regardless of their nationality, race, color, religion, gender, or political views. The award recognizes and honors scientists and artists for their groundbreaking achievements in advancing science in all its fields and art in all its forms, and for the benefit of humanity. This year, 8 laureates will receive the prize, 6 in the different fields of science and 2 in arts. I am honored to invite the laureates of the Wolf Prize for 2023. The Wolf Prize laureate in agriculture, Professor Rien van Genoegte. The Wolf Prize laureate in chemistry, Chuan He. Professor Hiroaki Suga. And Professor Jeffrey Kelly. The Wolf Prize laureate in medicine, Professor Daniel Drucker. The Wolf Prize laureate in mathematics, Professor Ingrid Dubeshi. The Wolf Prize laureate in art, the artist, Sir Richard Long. Distinguished guests, please rise in the honor of the entrance of the President of the State of Israel, the Speaker of the Knesset, and guests of honor while they make their way into the hall. Honorable President of the State of Israel, Mr. Yitzhak Herzog, and his wife, Mrs. Michal Herzog. Speaker of the Knesset, Member of Knesset, Amir Ohana. Minister of Education and Chairperson of the Wolf Foundation Council, Yoav Kish, and his wife, Tali Sher Kish. Acting Chairperson of the Wolf Foundation Council, Professor Dan Shechtman, and his wife, Tzipora Shechtman. Honorable President of the State of Israel, Mr. Yitzhak Herzog, you can sit. You're very polite. Speaker of the Knesset, Member of Knesset, Amir Ohana. Minister of Education and Chairperson of the Wolf Foundation Council, Yoav Kish. Members of Knesset, Acting Chairperson of the Wolf Foundation Council, Professor Dan Shechtman. Ambassadors and representatives of foreign embassies, Director General of the Knesset, Moshiko Chico Edry, members of the Wolf Foundation Council and trustees, university presidents and rectors, former and current Wolf Prize laureates, Nobel Prize laureates, distinguished guests. The wonderful poet Wisława Szymborska wrote, "I misbehaved in the cosmos yesterday. I lived around the clock without questions, without surprise. Tonight, we are celebrating with Wolf Prize laureates who constantly pose questions, who never ceased to be surprised, and make the universe a better place for all of us." The World Prize is being awarded for the 45th year. It is a prestigious award with a distinguished international reputation. Since the Wolf Foundation was established, 373 scientists and artists from all around the world have been awarded. Tonight, 8 new laureates will join them, the best in the world in their fields. They will receive the award here in the Knesset of Israel, in the lounge named after artist Marc Chagall, himself a Wolf Prize laureate. Dr. Ricardo Wolf, an inventor, diplomat, and philanthropist, believed in the power of art and science to improve, develop, change, and bring people together. Through the Wolf Foundation, Dr. Wolf dreamed of promoting science and art throughout the world. "I'm convinced," he said, "that science and art do more for the benefit of humanity and the good relations between nations than all the politicians and diplomats in the entire world have done." That's what he said, okay? The Wolf Foundation was the fulfillment of all his ideals. The Wolf Prize is awarded this year in 5 fields: agriculture, chemistry, mathematics, medicine, and art.
Welcome to the Wolf Foundation Awards ceremony. This evening, we will be honoring science and art for the benefit of mankind. Wolf Foundation was founded in 1976 by Dr. Ricardo Wolf. His spirit guides the effort of the Wolf Foundation in promoting excellence and recognizing the contribution of the world's best scientists and artists for their significant contribution to humanity and friendship among people. Dr. Wolf believed in Jerusalem's destiny as the capital of wisdom and peace. The Wolf Prize has a prestigious international reputation and is considered the second most important award after the Nobel Prize. Over 30% of the laureates received the Nobel Prize for their groundbreaking achievements later on. In sciences, and art. The prize is awarded by a number of juries made up of distinguished global academics and professionals to more than 320 outstanding artists and scientists from across the world. In addition, the Wolf Foundation grants the Krill Prize for young, promising researchers, Ingeborg Bachmann Scholarship, established by Anselm Kiefer for promising artists, as well as scholarships for excellent students. The Wolf Foundation celebrates and honors those who have demonstrated excellence in their own fields. and is confident that future generations will aspire to equal, if not exceed, their illustrious achievements. The Wolf Foundation, a seal of excellence.
I am honored to invite the President of the State of Israel, Mr. Yitzhak Herzog, to open the ceremony.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Minister, laureates, dear guests from all over the world, it is a tremendous honor and pleasure to welcome all of you to Jerusalem and to the Knesset, seat and symbol of Israeli democracy. This beautiful hall, as was mentioned by Daphna, is an especially fitting place to be awarding the Wolf Prize. Many of you may know that it showcases masterpieces by Marc Chagall, who was not only one of the great artists of the 20th century, but as was mentioned, was a Wolf Prize laureate of 1981. I thank the Speaker of the Knesset, my good friend, member of the Knesset, Amir Ohana, for welcoming us here today at this moving event. The great French scientist, Louis Pasteur, once said, "Science knows no country because knowledge belongs to humanity and is the torch which illuminates the world." So, dear laureates, each of you represents a country, a field, and a discipline, and each of you brings your own personal story of curiosity, of effort, of determination, perhaps of trial and error, and obviously of achievement and triumph. But at the same time, you embody something that goes well beyond the boundaries of the personal and specific. In your accomplishments, you represent something broad, the human reach for knowledge and for progress. These have indeed illuminated our human story that started long before any one of us and which will continue beyond every one of us. Dear friends, this story is dynamic and changing, and it is no exaggeration to say that today we are on the threshold of a hugely significant chapter. In the context of rapidly changing technologies, AI in particular, the impulse to push the boundaries of the possible invites familiar dilemmas. The ethical questions, which have always accompanied our journey, become much more urgent and that much more relevant. The questions themselves are not new. How do we balance the unstoppable human impulse to create, to refine, and to redefine with the need to protect ourselves against potential dangers, especially when the potential changes are so far-reaching and their course so different and so difficult to chart or predict? These moral questions remind us that science isn't the end in itself. We pursue progress because we are driven by curiosity and a thirst for knowledge, but also because we seek to make it a better world. This we agree on. In the Jewish tradition, the intention to direct our human labors towards perfecting our fractured, wounded world is called Tikkun Olam. How precisely science and our new technological frontiers will contribute to the ultimate goal of perfecting our world or distance us from it? This remains an open question. Just last week, I met with OpenAI CEO Sam Altman. I shared with him that when I asked his software what I should discuss with him, it said, "Please discuss the ethical and moral dimensions of AI." I think we can agree that is not a surprising wisdom, but it illustrates well the point. I do believe that science and technology in themselves can be either good or bad. As history has proven, free of the weight of human conscience, they can be distorted into service of the greatest atrocities. As Altman himself said to me, "Mr. President, I'm holding a nuclear device in my hands." But clearly, they can also be irreplaceable. Science can always also be irreplaceable in the service of true progress. Here, human accountability and agency are primary. There is no question that science can potentially not only save lives and expand well-being, health, prosperity, and so on and so forth, but also serve as a powerful bridge between peoples and nations. And in fact, over the last several years, we have witnessed the great contributions that science, technology, and art, by the way, have made to the development of humankind and to the bonds of friendship and understanding here in the Middle East. And I believe it's only just the beginning. So the value of scientific discovery, the kind that serves humanity and the relations amongst people, was a central theme in the life of Dr. Ricardo Wolf, whom I had the pleasure as a young child of knowing him. It is a great honor for the State of Israel to be entrusted with awarding the prize in his name to outstanding scholars and artists such as yourselves. Each of you is carrying on his legacy and making a lasting imprint on our civilization. I would like to thank the Wolf Foundation and all of its trustees, council, and committee members for inspiring us to appreciate the true potential of humankind. I want to acknowledge Chairperson of the Wolf Foundation Council, Education Minister, my good friend Yoav Kish. I congratulate you on assuming this position, and I'm certain that you will bring your many talents to this endeavor. I further thank Acting Chairperson of the Wolf Foundation, Professor Dan Shechtman, himself both a Wolf and Nobel laureate, and I thank the Chairman of the Board of Trustees, Zeev Abeles, and the Foundation's CEO, Reut Inon Berman. Lastly, esteemed recipients, I wish all of you many more years of creativity and contribution to our nations, our planet, and our humanity. May your quest for discovery always stay connected to wise and intelligent hearts that know that there is no greater good than a kinder, softer, and more compassionate world. Thank you all very, very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. President, for these inspiring words. And now, please welcome the Honorable Speaker of the Knesset, MK Amir Ohana.
Thank you, Honorable President of Israel, Mr. Yitzhak Herzog, and his wife Michal, Minister of Education and Chairperson of the Wolf Foundation, Yoav Kish, and his wife Tali Sherkish, members of Knesset, Director General of the Knesset, Mr. Moshe Chico Edry, Ambassador of Japan, His Excellency Mizushima Koichi, and members of foreign embassies, Acting Chairperson of the Wolf Foundation Council, Professor Dan Shechtman, and his wife, Professor Tzipora Shechtman, members of the Wolf Foundation Council and trustees, Wolf Prize laureates, Nobel Prize laureates, universities, presidents, and rectors, distinguished guests. I am thrilled to be here on an evening that serves as a getaway to new worlds, an evening where we honor the fruits of research and creation for the betterment of humanity. The well-known scientist and inventor Nikola Tesla said, "I do not think there is any thrill that can go through the human heart like that felt by the inventor as he sees some creation of the brain unfolding to success." Guided by this thrill, Tesla brought countless inventions to the world, including radio wave transmission and over 300 different inventions and patents. So, what makes a scientist a trailblazer? One quality that characterizes a groundbreaking scientist includes thinking outside the box. Other qualities include identifying and connecting needs to reality, the ability to sacrifice and take risks, and the willingness to face failures. Without these traits, you probably wouldn't be here tonight. It is these abilities that have helped you achieve groundbreaking results in your respective fields. Due to the fact that Israel is a small island-like state, Israeli leaders recognized science as an existential need and as a tool for shaping the country's future. From this perspective, Israel serves as a timeless proof of the clear advantage of the scientific method, a small pioneering group succeeding in overcoming threats from all sides through initiative and innovation. As part of this philosophy, the Knesset legislated 48 years ago the Wolf Foundation Law, a prize awarded to distinguished scientists and artists from around the world for their contributions to advancement of science and art for the benefit of humanity. The Israeli legislator also determined that the prize would be awarded here in the Knesset. I might be partial, but to me, the beating heart of the Israeli democracy, which represents diverse voices, positions, beliefs, and opinions, sounds like the perfect stage for awarding a prize that symbolizes freedom of expression and original thought. Sometimes it takes many years for a brilliant theory or a work of art to transition from being rejected and sometimes even ridiculed to finally receiving the recognition it deserves. You, esteemed laureates, stand among those who have the privilege to witness the profound recognition of your contributions to humanity in your own lifetimes. Congratulations to you all. Welcome to Jerusalem and welcome to the Knesset.
Thank you so much, M.K. Ohana, the Speaker of the Knesset. Mr. Ohana has to leave us, so we'll thank him for joining us tonight. And now, I'm pleased to invite the singer and musician, Davido.
Congratulations to the prize awards. I will start with the song that has been chosen to be the most beautiful song of the 20th century. The name of the song is Caruso. Wrote it an Italian musician named Lucio Dalla, and sang it the most amazing tenor ever, Luciano Pavarotti.
Dove il mare luccica e tira forte il vento sulla vecchia terrazza davanti al golfo di Sorrento. Un uomo abbraccia una ragazza dopo che aveva pianto, poi si schiarisce la voce e ricomincia il canto. Te voglio bene, sai, ma tanto bene, sai, è una catena ormai vide le luci in mezzo al mare, pensò alle notti là in America, ma erano solo le lampade alle bianche scia di un'elica. Senti il dolore nella musica, assorto dal pianoforte, ma quando vide la luna uscire da una nuvola, lì sempre più dolce anche la morte.
Thank you. This is Aviv Koren. Thank you.
That was amazing. Thank you. The process of selecting the Wolf Prize laureates is challenging and complex. The jury committees carefully reviewed hundreds of nominees, all of whom are the finest in their fields. During the selection process, the juries weighed the groundbreaking achievements of the candidates, their original thinking, and the depth of their influence on other researchers and artists and humanity as a whole. The 8 laureates being honored tonight join a remarkable and distinguished cadre, a collective of the world's top scientists and artists who have previously received the esteemed award. It is my honor to invite the Honorable Ministerial Chairperson of the Wolf Foundation Council, to address you and present the awards.
Honorable President of Israel, Mr. Yitzhak Herzog, and I may add my friend, my good friend, his wife, Michal, Speaker of the Knesset left us. I apologize for him. He asked me to say that he had to go. Acting Chairman of Wolf Foundation Council, Professor Dan Shechtman, and his wife, Professor Tzipora, and we should also meet. She is a professor for education, so we have to meet. Ambassadors, head of foreign missions, members of the Wolf Foundation Council and trustees, Wolf Prize laureates, distinguished guests. About a year ago, Professor Michael Sela passed away at the age of 98. Professor Sela was a biochemist, professor for immunology, the 6th president of Weizmann Institute of Science, one of the founding fathers of the science in Israel, and the Wolf Prize laureate himself. Once Professor Sela was asked what his advice for young scientists. He replied, optimism, persistence, truth, and curiosity. My definition for happiness, he said, the ability to be curious. I'm happy to be here with people who are apparently extremely curious and happy. It is you, Wolf Prize laureates, the curious, the creative, those who never stop researching and inventing. Professor Sela represents everything that the Wolf Foundation seeks to reward. He was an excellent researcher. He devoted his life and energy for humanity and for friendly relationship between people and nation, all people of all nations. Together with two other researchers, he discovered Copexone, a drug that changed the lives of many patients all over the world. In this, he changed the world. He did it while serving as the president of one of the most important higher education institutes in Israel, Machon Weizmann. And it is impossible to separate education from curiosity, creativity, excellence, and the willing to affect the world and change it, to make it a better place. You, dear laureates, embody the same story. Each of you receives the award tonight for groundbreaking work which has an overwhelming and special effect on humanity in the field of agriculture, chemistry, mathematics, medicine, and art. Your personal stories and your varied backgrounds are an inspiration and a source of hope for countless young children around the world. We, for our part, must make sure that there is an equality in education. We must make sure that every boy and girl can learn, succeed, and be a leader, regardless of their origin, race, gender, place of residence, and regardless of their family's social, economic situation. The Ministerial of Education, under my leadership, has made the promotion of excellence in all schools in Israel one of its priorities in the next school year. Albert Einstein once said that only those who take a risk and go far discover how far they can go. You, dear laureates, have gone far. And we will do everything in our power, and I will do so that the children of Israel will also have the opportunity to do so. I want to thank Professor Dan Shechtman, Acting Chairman of the Foundation, the Director General of the Foundation, the Wolf Foundation Council members and trustees, and members of the jury committees for their devotion and work. And to you, the Wolf Prize Award laureates, you are joining an outstanding family. The State of Israel is proud of you. The whole world is proud of you. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Yoav Kish. I am honored to invite Professor Dan Shechtman, Wolf Prize Laureate in Physics, Nobel Prize Laureate in Chemistry, and Acting Chairperson of the Wolf Foundation Council, to join Minister Kish in awarding the certificates. The 2023 Wolf Prize in Agriculture is awarded to Professor Rien van Genoegte of the Utrecht University in the Netherlands and the Federal University of Rio de Janeiro.
My name is Rien van Genoegte, formerly Martinez van Genoegte. Well, I always like to solve problems. Much of my research always concerned the unsaturated zone between the soil surface and the groundwater table, often referred to as the Vedo zone. What I found so exciting about this project is that I could address a number of unresolved puzzles about how water moves through the unsaturated zone and how the contaminants. We are faced with so many different problems. Lack of fresh water, soil and water pollution again, global climate, extreme weather. The goal is really to find ways of better managing our planet, both from a production point of view, but also a soil and water pollution point of view. Think about some of the things that we could contribute would be to ink infiltration, biomembranes, fuel cells, think about diapers, and a number of other things related to porous media. Of course, I'm very happy to receive the award, but my thoughts immediately went to all the people I could work with. Thank my family and children, and then also dedicate this prize to those that try to manage the difference between state of the art and state of the practice. We know so much, but we have still problems of implementing this for society as a whole.
The 2023 Wolf Prize in Chemistry is jointly awarded to 3 scientists. Professor Chuan He from the University of Chicago, USA.
My name is Chuan He. I'm a professor at the University of Chicago. As a chemist, I've always been fascinated by the fact that our genome is only 3 billion base pairs long, and yet we have tens of trillions of cells, hundreds of different cell types, thousands of different cell states. These are the things that excites me and intrigues me and gets me going every day. My lab started to work on RNA methylation, demethylation, and we realized some of these chemical modifications have broad fundamental roles to regulate a variety of different biological processes. And so what we work on is another fundamental mechanism, RNA chemical modification, which affect the genetic information flow in the central dogma. Some of these modifications not only affects translation, but also regulates transcription, the step from DNA to the RNA. There are always 2 goals. The first one is to learn new knowledge. The second goal is to have social impact. Whatever we work on is critical to development, but the defect of those processes leads to human diseases. I've been so thrilled for receiving this prestigious prize. I also think this is an encouragement to me and my research group. And I also want to congratulate Professor Kelly and Professor Suga. It's a tremendous honor to share this prize with both of them.
Professor Hiroaki Suga from the University of Tokyo, Japan.
I'm Hiroaki Suga, professor of the chemistry in the University of Tokyo. I was very excited by jazz music when I was young as a player, since the improvisation by the top jazz players are always creative. Despite the fact that I was not able to perform in professional level, but I feel that the chemistry is somewhat similar to improvisation in jazz, because such an achievement gives new opportunities for me to express myself. Our research focuses on devising platform technologies, allowing us to discover molecules that modulate biological functions of proteins. I first developed artificial enzymes called Flexizyme. This unique enzyme allows us to charge exotic amino acids, deprogramming of the genetic code, leading us to express unique macrocyclic peptides. Particularly, we developed the screening method. It's called rapid system. This is really a special technique that revolutionized the drug discovery process. But eventually, we want to deliver to the patient who suffered diseases which are not treated currently well. I'm extremely excited and honored to receive this prestigious award. This prize was given not only me, to all the members of the Suga Laboratory. I also thank Professor Tori in Okayama University, Professor Satoru Masamune in MIT, and also Professor Jack Shostak at Harvard at the time, and now it's University of Chicago. So it's really simply discovery, discovery, discovery. Something we could not imagine before.
Professor Jeffrey Kelly from the Scripps Research Institute, USA.
I'm Jeff Kelly. I'm the Lida Annenberg Hazen Professor of Chemistry at the Scripps Research Institute. I entered into the profession of chemistry because I thought that if you could make new molecules, you could fix problems that affected society. I got really interested in neurodegenerative diseases. It occurred to me that they were conformational diseases, or diseases of shape changes in proteins, and I rationalized that if we were right about our hypothesis, that maybe we could apply chemistry to prevent those shape changes and slow down the progression of the disease. Perhaps the most important was to test the idea that protein aggregation was really the driver behind neurodegenerative diseases like the transthyretin amyloidosis, Parkinson's, and Alzheimer's disease. These diseases kind of haunt the carriers throughout their life because they don't know if they're going to get it, and if they do, is it going to destroy their life? Now, what we've focused on for nearly 30 years is the notion that you could make small molecules to bind to proteins and to prevent these shape changes. The shape changes and aggregation slowed disease progression, demonstrating that that hypothesis has some validity. The patients live longer, they have a healthier life, their quality of life is higher. So receiving this award is a tremendous honor. It reflects the immense creativity of the graduate students and postdoctoral fellows who I've had the privilege of training in my lab. I really look forward to joining the Wolf Foundation family. It's a tremendous family to be a part of, given the distinguished pedigrees of the past winners and what they've accomplished.
The 2023 Wolf Prize in Medicine is awarded to Professor Daniel Drucker from Toronto University, Canada.
My name is Daniel Drucker. I'm a professor of medicine at the University of Toronto. One of the fascinating things about doing the basic science is that we're constantly asking questions that have almost immediate clinical relevance. My work has been to understand the actions of the glucagon-like peptides. We now know that GLP-1 controls energy metabolism, the function of pancreatic hormones, and it has been developed into new therapies for the treatment of type 2 diabetes, as well as the treatment of people with obesity. After administration of GLP-1, there tended to be some weight loss, with the first drug approved for the treatment of obesity in 2014. Some people with very large gastrointestinal tracts were found to have glucagon-producing tumors. We set about to determine which glucagon-like peptide was responsible. GLP-1 may be neuroprotective. And so I think it's incredibly exciting to see the promise of GLP-1 extend from first type 2 diabetes, then to the field of obesity, subsequently to helping people with cardiovascular disease, and potentially even reducing the rates of cognitive dysfunction. Receiving the Wolf Prize in Medicine is wonderful recognition. This all starts with basic science. We can't really predict where the breakthroughs will come from, but a strong funding base will ensure that the next generation is poised to succeed tomorrow with the next breakthroughs.
The 2023 Wolf Prize in Mathematics is awarded to Professor Ingrid Dubishi from Duke University, USA.
My name is Ingrid Dubishi. I am a mathematician. What I like doing is identifying interesting mathematical questions and solve these questions. The wonderful thing is when the answers then feed back to interesting results for the application. The work from which I'm most well known is my work on wavelets, which are special tools in which it is useful to decompose signals or images, especially when there's information in those images. Imagine looking at an image, a digital image, which consists of many layers. It's not completely sharp. An analog would be something where you want to make a painting with different layers, where you first put down washes and then you take a more narrow brush. At the very end you draw like fine lines to define edges. That is what wavelets make it possible to do mathematically. They turn out to be very good for compressing images and still providing information that has everything that our human visual system really likes to see. I was so surprised when I got the news that the committee for the Wolf Prize had decided to award this prize to me. I'm 68, so I'm not a spring chick anymore. Seeing that there are people who still think of me as part of the present rather than the past will certainly give renewed energy to the things that I'm doing. We try to bring mathematics to people who will need it, even if they are not aware of all the beautiful and wonderful things you can do with mathematics.
The 2023 Wolf Prize in Art is jointly awarded to the artist Fujiko Nakaya from Japan, who unfortunately, for health reasons, could not join us tonight. We send her our best wishes. The Wolf Prize in Art is awarded to the artist Sir Richard Long from the UK.
My name is Richard Julian Long. I'm an artist. I'm a landscape artist. My studio is the world. I work in the wilderness, in mountains, deserts, anywhere in the world that my walking takes me. I've made sculptures and walks on 5 different continents. I was always an artist from a very little boy when I was making mud pies on my front path. The world outside, the world of clouds and mountains and rivers and tides was more interesting than the world in the studio. Then I started to make works actually just by walking. On these walking journeys I make sculptures along the way. So in 1975 I made a work of art which was 1,000 miles long, for example, just by walking. One thing that excites me is that I've been able to expand the territory of art by using the dimensions of time and distance. I use my body as a measure in a way. I think art should feed the mind and feed the senses. It's wonderful to be able to follow my ideas wherever they take me. I don't have a goal. Everything that needs to be said is in my work. Well, I'm happy that to be acknowledged and to find that I'm appreciated by the Wolf Committee. I never set out to be popular or famous. Carl Andre once said, art is what we do and culture is what is done to us. Having said that, I suppose in a way now I'm part of our history. Like it or not.
Honored guests, these are the 2023 Wolf Prize laureates. The finest inventions, discoveries, and creations all on one stage. I'm sure that if Professor Ricardo Wolf could see you all tonight, he'd be incredibly proud. I thank Minister Kish and Professor Shechtman as well. And now I'm pleased to invite again Davido.
It's all about dreams. Yeah? Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. If birds fly over the rainbow, why then, oh why can't I? Someday I wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. If birds fly over the rainbow, why then, oh why? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Davido, and thanks Aviv Koren for your great work on the keyboard. I invite the Honorable President of the State of Israel, Mr. Yitzhak Herzog, to award the Wolf Medals for Excellence. The artist, Sir Richard Long. Professor Ingrid Dubschi. Professor Daniel Drucker. Professor Jeffrey Kelly. Professor Hiroaki Suga. Professor Chuan He. And Professor Rien van Genoegte. I invite the Speaker of the Knesset, Amir Ohana, Minister of Education, Yoav Kish, and the Acting Chairperson of the Wolf Foundation Council, Professor Dan Shechman, to join the Presidents and the Laureates for a joint picture. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2023 Wolf Prize laureates, give them a warm round of applause. They deserve it. I'm honored to invite the members of the Wolf Foundation Council, management, and trustees to join the laureates. Chairperson of the Board of Trustees, Mr. Zev Ebles, Dr. Talia Aaroni, Director General, Ms. Reut Inon Berman, Council members, Dr. Hannah Canetti, Professor Ehud Keinan, Professor Michael Lin, and Dr. Tzipi Landau. Distinguished guests, please rise for the singing of the national anthem, Hatikva by Davido. Afterwards, please remain standing until the President, the Speaker of the Knesset, and the guests of honor leave the hall.
נפש יהודי הומייה ולפת מזרח קדימה עין לציון צופיה עוד לא אבדה תקוותנו שנות 2000 להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון וירושלים להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון
Please remain standing. We've reached the end of the 2023 Wolf Prize Awards ceremony. I want to thank you all, not just for your attendance, but for being a part of this incredible community. And a special thank you to our laureates that inspired us. You all made this night a night to remember. Shalom and leitraot.